Welcome to Iraqi Dinar, your trusted destination for comprehensive insights on global currency movements and developments in international financial markets. As we move into May 6, 2025, we bring you a momentous update, one that may redefine the economic futures of two powerful, rapidly developing nations, Iraq and Vietnam. This isn't just another news update. It marks a pivotal moment in global finance. After years of anticipation, speculation, and strategic groundwork, the long-discussed revaluation of the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, and the Vietnamese Dong, VND, has been officially confirmed. Beginning tomorrow, May 7, 2025, both currencies will undergo a significant revaluation, a move that has the potential to reshape not only national economies, but also influence international trade, investment dynamics, and monetary policy on a global scale. For years, analysts, institutional investors, and ordinary citizens have waited for this day. Today, the waiting ends. What was once a hopeful discussion across financial forums and economic conferences is now a concrete strategic action. This revaluation is not a routine fiscal adjustment. It is a statement, one that signifies the rebirth of economic confidence, modernization, and long-term vision in Iraq and Vietnam. Those of you who have followed this channel know how closely we've covered every twist in this ongoing journey. From policy leaks and central bank communications to grassroots economic movements and international reactions, we've tracked it all. And now, we stand at the threshold of a new economic era. It's time to break down what's about to happen, why it matters, and how individuals and businesses can position themselves for the opportunities and challenges this shift may bring. Beginning May 7, 2025, the governments and central banks of Iraq and Vietnam will officially revalue their national currencies. This step ends years of debate and uncertainty, particularly for those who have long believed in the untapped potential of both economies. This change marks a decisive move away from speculative discussion and toward real, actionable transformation. A currency revaluation of this nature signals more than a change in exchange rates. It marks the beginning of a new monetary identity. It reflects improved fiscal discipline, increased global engagement, and a renewed focus on economic sovereignty. Currency revaluations of this scope are never taken lightly. They are the result of years of strategic planning, macroeconomic alignment, and the pressing need to respond to inflationary trends and structural inefficiencies in outdated currency systems. In this case, both Iraq and Vietnam have spent years preparing their economies through legal, banking, and institutional reforms aimed at restoring credibility and encouraging both domestic and foreign investment. For citizens of these nations, the impact will be felt in tangible ways. The introduction of more practical, lower-denomination banknotes will make everyday transactions easier and more efficient. Confidence in the monetary system is expected to rise, encouraging people to save more strategically, spend with greater trust, and invest in local businesses and services. All of these behaviors feed directly into healthier, more resilient national economies. For global investors, this revaluation signals renewed stability and growth potential. It demonstrates a commitment by these governments to meet international financial standards and create a more predictable, trustworthy business environment. It could also increase the attractiveness of these countries as destinations for foreign direct investment, while boosting the credibility of their currencies as potential reserve assets. But what exactly is a currency revaluation, and why does it matter? In essence, a revaluation is a deliberate upward adjustment in the official exchange rate of a country's currency. It typically occurs when a nation's monetary authorities determine that the existing value of their currency no longer reflects its true economic strength or potential. This is not a cosmetic change. It is a structural realignment that influences every corner of the economy. For Iraq and Vietnam, the revaluation aims to better position their currencies in both domestic and international markets by aligning them with the realities of growing GDPs, diversified exports, and strategic trade relationships. As a result, we can expect a range of benefits. High-denomination banknotes will likely be phased out or redenominated, reducing the logistical complications associated with large-volume cash transactions. Consumer and investor trust will strengthen. Financial systems, particularly those geared toward international transactions, will become more efficient and streamlined. And most importantly, both countries will be signaling to the world that they are ready to operate on equal financial footing with more established economies. Turning to Iraq, the significance of this revaluation cannot be overstated. For years, the Iraqi dinar has been weighed down by a legacy of war, sanctions, and inflation. Citizens have endured the indignity of having to use massive amounts of currency just to purchase basic goods and services. The complexity and inconvenience of these daily transactions have stifled economic participation and undermined public trust. But now that changes. With the revaluation of the IQD, Iraq will eliminate excessive zeros, making the currency more functional and reflective of the country's improving fiscal health. This move isn't just administrative, it's symbolic. It marks a restoration of dignity, clarity, and national pride. More than that, it represents Iraq's ambition to build an economy that is not just surviving, but thriving. This revaluation will facilitate greater foreign investment, simplify trade agreements, and open new channels for economic development. It will also send a powerful signal to international partners that Iraq is ready to rejoin the global financial community on new terms defined by stability, opportunity, and resilience. At the same time, Vietnam's revaluation of the Dong is equally consequential. Vietnam has long been recognized as one of Southeast Asia's most dynamic economies, driven by strong manufacturing, tech innovation, and rapidly expanding international trade. However, the Dong has remained undervalued, failing to reflect the country's real economic output and rising global influence. That ends tomorrow. With the revaluation of the VND, Vietnam is stepping into its rightful place among emerging market leaders. This is not merely a change in exchange rates, it is a rebalancing of global financial perception. Vietnam is making it clear that it is ready to compete with larger economies on a level playing field. Investors are likely to take notice, potentially increasing capital flows and bolstering the country's position in regional trade agreements. For Vietnamese citizens and businesses, this shift will provide a more stable monetary foundation, enabling easier international trade and stronger financial systems. Local enterprises will gain better access to global markets. Consumers will have more confidence in their currency's value, and the nation as a whole will benefit from heightened international credibility. In the days and months following the revaluation, we expect to see a mix of immediate and longer-term effects. Daily transactions will become easier and more intuitive. Consumers will no longer have to calculate large sums or carry stacks of cash. Confidence in the monetary system will likely result in increased spending and investment at home. Economies that were once viewed through the lens of risk will begin to attract a new wave of strategic investment and trade interest. Digital financial systems will likely accelerate as well. We anticipate a surge in mobile banking, online payments, and the adoption of secure digital wallets, especially as governments push for modernization in line with their new financial visions. Citizens will need to familiarize themselves with these tools as physical cash becomes less central to economic activity. To help provide clarity during this transition, we've spoken with respected financial experts. Dr. Dramad Al-Sadi, a leading economist specializing in Iraq's financial system, remarked that this revaluation marks more than convenience. It marks a milestone of national maturity. Removing zeros, he explained, is not just about simplification. It's about signaling to the world that Iraq is ready to engage on new economic terms. A global strategist noted that currency revaluation is often a proxy for trust. When countries revalue, they're not just adjusting numbers, they're committing to transparency, transformation, and technological progress. Financial journalist Robert Nin, reporting from Southeast Asia, emphasized the strategic nature of this dual revaluation. "This move is rare," he said, "and it's deeply intentional. It reflects an emerging economic diplomacy that may strengthen regional alliances and reshape the global investment map. As this transformation begins, the most important thing is to remain calm, informed, and prepared. Monitor official updates from central banks and government sources. Use trusted financial platforms like Iraqi Dinar Information to stay current. Understand new exchange rates and how they'll affect your personal finances, business operations, or investment strategies. For business owners, this is the time to revisit your pricing models, payroll systems, and tax planning. Consult with financial professionals to anticipate how these changes may impact your operations. Individuals should explore digital banking options and familiarize themselves with secure online payment platforms. As Iraq and Vietnam push for greater financial digitization, this knowledge will be essential.